Hey, what's up, YouTube land? It's Brendan here, and I'm on the call today with two of my main homies, but they've also learned a lot about Make Money Online. And why do I think that they've learned a lot? Because they've learned from, I'm just kidding. They have learned. I've launched with these guys. They've been my partners. We've had a really good time. Shaheen actually is a member of something called Project Profit Academy, which a lot of you guys haven't heard of yet. But within a month of being a member here, he's just made, how much money have you made in the last 7, 10 days, Sheen?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's still going right now, but it's been I think close to 10K, about 10K now. We have
10K prof.
yeah. Some of that is cost. I think 500,000 bucks or so is cost. So we'll say about 9K just to be conservative. But it's still going on. We've had a really hot promo, and following everything in the program, I'm just kind of blown away right now. I don't even everything's surreal. So yeah, it's been good.
That's awesome. And he also got a bunch of buyer email addresses because a bunch of people have purchased his stuff. So over time, he's going to make a lot of money from the action that he took like 2 weeks ago, right? So we have a lot of really cool stuff to cover. Really excited to have Shaheen on the call because he's living proof that a lot of people have this false idea that that it's impossible for me to become successful. Only the gurus can do it because they have a big list, they have a big connections. Shaheen only had a list of like a couple hundred people before a couple weeks ago, and he's making thousands upon thousands of dollars. So legitimately anybody can start from scratch and make something with these kind of businesses. So I'm happy to have him on the call. I have my homie over there, Dalton Scott, who is also a business partner of me. I've launched with in the past, and we do a lot of projects with, including Project Profit Academy. If you want to introduce yourself, Dalton, so people know more about you.
Hey guys, my name's Dalton. If you haven't seen me, you probably haven't watched enough of Brendan's videos and you should probably get back and do that. Also, yeah, we've been launching a lot of products recently, so if you haven't checked that out, you should. But overall, I've been doing Make Money Online now for about 4 years. I started out with Kindle. Actually, Shaheen here was one of my coaching students a few years ago when I guess a year ago about, right?
It was just about a year and a month ago or so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember I was in Colombia when I actually was coaching you.
You would like to take the credit. You would like to take the
I
credit.
would like to take the credit. It's hard.
It never happened. It never happened, guys.
It's
Bleep
hard
out
when
his
working with
block.
Brendan. You really got to like fight through, but you can eventually. No, but overall, I've been doing this for a while now. Started out with Kindle Publishing. Now I'm doing a lot of affiliate marketing. And as Brendan said, we're doing a lot of different stuff with like Project Profit Academy and other stuff like that. So happy to be here.
Wicked, wicked.
It's
So
awesome.
we have a lot of stuff to cover because we have a lot of cool shit to talk about. We could start with the product launch, Shaheen, since that's what we've been doing here. Shaheen, I noticed his talent for a while now. He was actually able to make some money on his own with a very small audience with trust marketing. Now, trust marketing is really powerful. Another good friend of mine is King Human. Some of you guys have seen his YouTube channel, and he does the same thing. He has a really loyal following of people that will follow him and buy whatever he suggests because they just trust him so much, right? So we decided that we have created a lot of different courses, but we've never created a course that was based on manufacturing trust marketing, which a lot of people think may sound complicated or difficult, but it's actually not. If you follow the systemic approach, and maybe that could be the first question that we could cover is, how do you create a trust following, and is it something that's accessible? Could anybody do this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes and yes to both those questions. Actually, me and Dalton were talking about this the other day, and then I think we started talking about it too, Brendan, where honestly, like when I started this and I gained those 134 subscribers that allowed me to start, make the $3,174 in the first month, I wasn't following a book. I wasn't following a roadmap or anything like that. I was literally just putting up videos and just being myself. I was just conveying my own personality, and it's a different personality than, say, your personality. You here watching us, Brendan's, Dalton's. Everybody has their own unique personality, even if you've got no personality. I've seen the most bland people, the most shy people, extroverted, introverted, cripple. I mean, it doesn't really matter. All kind of have this ability to get up on camera and just say what they want to say about a given niche. And of course, we talk about that in the Awakening a lot, how to pick a niche. But that I found is the least relevant part. The fact that you go up there, you talk with authenticity, you don't have to say anything magical or anything special. There are no gimmicks or tricks or anything like that. Just being you, you will attract birds of the same feather, as the saying goes. You'll attract people that are just like you and will pay you for whatever it is you put out there. It could even be irrelevant to the niche. I found that. I talked a lot about Kindle publishing at the beginning, But anytime I would promote, say, one of your guys' products or a product that was totally, offhand, it was just something that wasn't related, I would still get massive results. And it didn't really have to do with a lot of gimmicks, like I said before. It was just me being me and putting it out there and saying, look, this is a good product. I reviewed it. It's great. People trust you when they see you enough. And then I learned some tricks, some strategies later on after I started making the money, which of course I incorporated in The Awakening and I talk about a lot more. So you have kind of a full comprehensive, view of everything. So yeah, that's my take on it, man.
Yeah, I think what a lot of mistake that a lot of people make is they underestimate the intelligence or the awareness of the consumer. And what a lot of people try and do is they try and put on this show to try and sell you something. But unless you're a master Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street seller, when it comes across like you're selling, you can't sell. The easiest way to sell is to not sell, basically. I think that you're probably better at explaining this than me, Sheen, but do you know what I'm saying? You're like, the best way to sell is to not sell.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'll just use an example. I worked in retail sales for most of my professional working career. I used to work sales for my dad in his business, selling car audio. And honestly, I didn't really have an interest or a passion in car audio. But people came to me because they trusted me. I didn't know any kind of highfalutin, tactics. I didn't know the copywriting that I know today that I studied and I got kind of better at. I was just me. I was just honest. I never tried to sell anybody, yet I used to outsell a lot of the experts and the veterans that used to come in that, followed a 51-point checklist of different sales tactics and different maneuvers. Like you said, Brendan, you don't have to be a Jordan Belfort. You don't have to create this facade. You don't have to create this image that you are better than who you are or that you know more than you actually do. And you don't have to really incorporate a lot of these 1,001 sales checklists and tactics. I know we read the books on sales and stuff like that. I don't follow any of that stuff. I honestly, like I said, I go out there and I'm just myself, and I'm not a natural salesman at all. I'm a shy guy. I'm an introverted guy. I played with Star Wars figures until I was probably, I'm embarrassed to say, a little too late in life. I didn't really, I was the biggest nerd, but I just mustered up the courage to put my face out there, to put myself out there, and that's really all it takes. And that's what I want you guys to get. It just takes a bit of courage to kind of move in that direction. Once you do, you'll begin to see exactly what people need to hear from you. You'll kind of get feedback from them. But even if you don't, what you have to say, what you have to offer to the world it's exceptional. And you don't
I have a thing that would be really cool here. So when I started my YouTube channel, I have about 2,500 subscribers. When I started actually doing this, basically what happened was I put out a couple of videos at maybe 10 to 20, and I didn't do coaching at the time, actually. And the reason I started coaching is because people requested it. I wasn't selling anything. I didn't sell myself. All I did was provide value. And then people want to figure out, maybe you can help me. So if you even ask Brendan, before this, he's like, Dalton, what, you want to promote this? I'm like, I don't like doing promotions. I don't want to promote anything, please. But obviously you get better at that. But with me, it was basically people requested that I actually go ahead and coach. So I started coaching, and then you see it all builds upon itself. And the more you do this, the more you take action, the more you put yourself out there, the more you're going to see people want to appreciate. You're going to see more people come to you, and you'll be able to network with a ton of people. For example, if I didn't make a YouTube channel, I wouldn't be talking to this guy or this guy, and I wouldn't be on this call right now. So these things can change your life in the biggest way. So that's what I think I have to say about that.
Yeah, I think that people like flaws too. You were saying there, Shaheen, that you talk about Star Wars and having a nerdy side and everything like that. Most people aren't the star of the football team or the top of the pyramid sort of a thing. And you generally buy from people you like and you trust, and you like people that you relate to. So as long as you're authentically yourself, like you say, attracting birds of the same feather. Birds of the same feather. So if you just present yourself normally, you're going to have a huge demographic of people, unless you're some crazy freak like Dalton, then you're going to be in trouble. Then you're going to be in trouble.
I had to pay for each one of my subscribers.
That was called manufacturing a list right there. And Dalton is exceptional at
right
it.
Now.
If you want to subscribe to the biggest freak around.
I better hope I'm over there, friend.
Well, luckily for Dalton, there are other freaks out there that are just as freaky as him, if not even more freaky.
I'm not even being that picky right now. You guys.
He's
So what
he's
can we
PC right now.
So the first of all, we did a mainstream product launch on Warrior Plus. It's the best-selling product on Warrior Plus today. It's been the best-selling product for the last few days. It's doing really well on there. It's really well received. People are loving it. It's called The Awakening. We're not going to sell that there, but it is really cool. Check it out if you're kind of more interested, because Shaheen goes through a lot of his awesome strategies. But you haven't just released content on a mainstream platform, right? This course is actually teaching people how to sell privately. So there's probably going to be a lot of people on this call right now that are freaked out about the whole idea. This is way too intimidating. I could never do this. But if you're doing it privately, this legitimately is something that anybody can do, right? And I think one of the things, too, that people think is they need to be some kind of expert or guru to be able to sell something or teach something. The YouTube channel that you're looking at right now, I wasn't an expert. I hate to pull the wool over your eyes. I wasn't an expert all those years. I was just sharing everything I knew as I was learning it, right? So you don't have to be the biggest expert in the world. You just have to know something that other people don't know. So if that's like setting up a YouTube account, you just learned how to set up your YouTube account. Now you can create a video, you can show people how to set up a YouTube account, and there's going to be, if you take a look at the traffic for that search term, there's tons of people searching for that. So as long as you can know something that other people don't know, which we all have, you can try and make up bullshit excuses like you don't know anything, you don't, but you do. Everybody knows something, everybody has something to provide, and there is a demographic or a market that is going to want to see what you have to say.
Quick thing on that. One thing I ask myself when I put out videos is a simple question. Is this video going to help one person out there? And if I know that the video can provide value to at least one person, I'm going to publish it. A lot of people have all these objections, like, I can't do it because of this, I can't do it because of this. Is one person going to actually get value from your videos? Now, I'll tell you the truth. I've made a lot of videos that you won't get value from, but they're on another channel that you won't see and nobody will see, and I'll never share. But if you're putting out videos, if you're putting videos out to teach people, and you can even help with anything, you're going to see people are going to receive it well, and you will get views as long as you're looking for the right keywords.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I'll just kind of piggyback on these guys. Everything you guys have said is just awesome, and I've always been a big believer that humans, as human beings, we have this like compulsion to want to teach something that we just learned. I mean, think about the last movie that you saw, how excited you got about that movie, and how you had to go tell the world, unless it was a really, really bad movie, then you had to go tell the world how it was a really bad movie. But if it was a great movie, you want to go tell your dad, your mom, friends, uncles, cousins, everybody, a random stranger on the street. You want to tell them, hey, man, I just watched this movie, and this thing was awesome. They did this, and they did that. Next thing you know, the guy's all hyped up. Yeah, I'm going to go watch that movie. And it just goes to show that we have this compulsion to want to tell people about something we've discovered, and we have this compulsion to want to teach. And I think that is totally normal. It's totally natural. And the best part about it is, yeah, you could do it privately with very few people. Like, I am not the biggest networker. I actually kind of have a pet peeve of networking. Like, Brendan has this huge network and all these people, and he's built up to that. Me, I've been in obscurity for the last year. You know, I haven't been that well known, but the people who do come across me, they receive me really well. That's why with so few people, I was able to monetize it and actually build a full-time income that I could add to my kind of repertoire of different streams of income. And it was not by going out and doing these big product launches. Like, this is the first product launch I've done with Brendan and Dalton, or in general, period. I didn't rely on that. I just relied on a couple of little, things that I did. I did them consistently for about 30 days, and I started to see massive results. And it doesn't take you being or doing anything other than what you already have or who you already are. That's what I really, really want to stress. And like I said, I hate networking. I hate getting in a room and schmoozing. I hate networking online too, where you don't even actually show your face. I'm a little hermit like that. But the good news is you can be too, and you can make a lot of money just doing that, just being you. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I totally agree. I actually think too, a lot of people don't understand the way that authority works online, or being the person that's like people listen to or whatever, is like the person that speaks is whoever chooses to speak, and you have as much authority as you tell people that you have, basically, right? You should never lie to people or anything, but if you learn something, so for example, Shaheen learned Kindle from Dalton, and then he turned around and then shared that information that he learned to other people, and now became the authority literally over like a week, right? So you can flip something. If you don't have a knowledge for something, you can just go to a mentor and learn it, and now you have something to share, right? Now you have something that you know that you can share to other people. As far as authority goes, I think it's actually, a lot of people don't know this, maybe that watch this channel, but it, like, people that know me from like high school or my like older personal life, the idea that I'm like like not like a super big authority, but like that I have like thousands of subscribers or that people listen to me or what that would be so unbelievably humorous and just such a joke. You know, and I sometimes I have people that even message me and they kind of like, oh my God, Brendan, I know you're so above my level, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
You get kind of like chills, like,
are you pretending to be humble right now? Like, are you like?
It's all an act. It's all an act, obviously. But I go to the beach and I have beers and I just like joke around. Nobody knows me in public, obviously, and then anyone from my previous kind of like my previous life from high school or whatever doesn't really think of me as a big deal. I have this small niche of people that are like, oh my God, Brendan, like you're above my level or whatever. And it's all just based on bullshit. It's not based on bullshit in a way, but me just being like, hey, here's what I know. And because no one else is doing that, almost no one else is doing that, it's so easy to manufacture authority. You have no idea. All these people that have big channels, King Human, Alex Becker, any of those guys, they just turn the microphone on and they say, hey, here's what I know. They don't know anything, they learn it. And then over time, eventually, they have this catalog of, oh my God, like, this guy is such a big deal. It's like, no, he's not. He just, like, gradually shared.
I think another thing that people need to understand is, like, they always are like, I need to be making 10K a month to even make videos. It's like people want that journey. People want to see that. So don't make an excuse of I'm not making this much money. I'm not making that. If you make $1, you make $1, that means you're probably making more money than most people who are trying to make money online. So if you can make $1, you can teach people how to make $1. And in the process of teaching that, you're probably going to learn how to make more and then teach them that. Like, don't make these excuses over and over again. If you have one thing that somebody doesn't know, just teach it. You'll see you're going to grow from there.
I totally agree. And this stuff doesn't even necessarily have to be. Sometimes people just want to have a blog set up and they have no idea how to do that. When I started out, I had no idea how to set up a website. I think I was paying like 10 times the amount of money that I should have to have my website because I had somebody like middleman facilitate the process for me. It would have been so unbelievably useful for me to find somebody that'd be like, Brendan, like, here's how you do it. Boom, 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 boom. And that information is going to be so useful to so many people that have no experience in that area. I get that question all the time. People contact me like, hey, like, how do I even set up a website in the first place? You know? And then I have like, now I've created a video because I don't want to like retell it every time. So I'm like, here's my video where I talk about that or whatever. But it doesn't even have to be necessarily monetary. You will learn stuff in your journey that will be useful to other people. It could be just setting up a website, could be setting up a channel, could be setting up a blog, could be setting up whatever. And just push that as far as you can. Because I think the biggest thing that holds people back, and maybe we're going to get into a bit of psychology here, but the biggest thing by far that holds people back, in my opinion, is fear. It's not like a lack of knowledge. It's not talent. It's the being afraid of putting yourself out there. And if you can get over that, you can become really successful. We have a graphic designer. His name's Alakasa. He does the best graphic pages ever, and that guy's going to be a really rich, not going to say it, but like it's going to be a really rich guy because he has no fear. Like, he will just contact
no social awareness at all.
Ala, I never said a word, man. You saw this. I'm staying quiet like, right now.
He's just like, oh, like, we have a question for something. It's like, oh yeah, I reached out to Russell Brunson and he like sent me a message. Like, he
no, legitimately, like, yeah, I messaged Alex Becker. Hopefully he gets back to me.
And he gets people to call back to him, and that's like Tim Ferriss is talking. Tim Ferriss has talked about that too. It's like nobody's getting the results because no one's going for it.
Like, for example, do you think Alan knows some people that you don't, Brendan? He could talk to people that you couldn't talk to.
Yeah, that guy's fearless, man, I tell you. And that's why he's going to be successful, because he doesn't have that fear. And I think that Tim Ferriss had a quote in his book where he said, there's a proportion, I think it said there's, your success is going to be proportioned to the amount of uncomfortable conversations that you're going to be willing to have.
Alan's really good at that.
That was one of the coolest takeaways that I took from the 4-hour work week, because it was like this idea that really what's holding you back is you're putting off the stuff that you don't want to do. And actually what I really loved about that book, because I'm a Tim Ferriss fanboy, so I can't help myself, is he would say, like, you have all these tasks that you want to accomplish in a day. And what most people will do is they won't even think about prioritizing their tasks. They'll just work through their to-do list. Well, naturally, psychologically, you want to do the stuff that makes you the most comfortable. So you're always going to avoid doing the tasks that actually are important. Whereas if you actually prioritize your tasks, because I don't work that much, I don't think that Dalton works that much, the slacker over there, but I'm just kidding. But if you prioritize your tasks, only a couple of those tasks actually make a significant difference on your business at all. So if you can prioritize what's actually important, I will be totally negligent on stuff that doesn't really have any impact whatsoever. And people would be surprised to learn how lazy I am. But what the stuff that's actually going to increase my business, I don't have an excuse for myself because I know that that's what's important.
I would agree 100% with that. And it's really, once you get rid of that barrier, that fear barrier, which, I mean, we're all working through every day, like to say nobody has no fear. And if you are, you're probably a psychopath. And that might make, actually, there's probably a lot of psychopaths who run huge corporations. That would explain the globalist agenda and everything.
There's a book on it. I think it's called The Sociopath Next Door. And they talk about how sociopaths who don't have a conscience and don't really care about what happens or what gets said.
Huge advantage.
You know, they're all leaders, they're all CEOs, they're all, not all, but a lot of them actually move up the ranks fairly fast because they don't feel like this fear of what are people going to think, or am I going to step on somebody's toes, or which, you know, you want to be conscientious of that, of stuff like that, but at the same time, not so much to where it's preventing you from getting what you really want in life. One thing I think about a lot, and I think me and Dalton were talking about this yesterday, and me and you have talked about this, Brendan, is how I first, I wanted to, this is a big reveal right here, just to put it out in the open. I got kind of like in the pickup community, the seduction community. I wanted to actually go and find women that I wanted to actually approach, not girls that were in my social circle. I wanted to have choice. I didn't want to rely on friends or family or anything like that to go and talk to girls. And this made me totally uncomfortable because now I have to actually go out and approach girls randomly on the streets who don't know me from Adam, you know, and I have to actually tell them that I like them and this and that, and it is the most uncomfortable thing. Then I started reading all these books, and they were saying, you know, first you want to say this, first you want to say that, next you want to, you know, put your hand like this, and next you want to twirl around like that. And I was like, you know what, forget all that. The hardest thing, the biggest thing is going and approaching that girl. And I know if I can do that, and I can do that consistently, then I will end up getting results. And lo and behold, I did. My fiance right now, girl of my dreams, girl that I love, she's great, and I met her by just by approaching her and kind of conquering that fear. I didn't really conquer it, but I acted in spite of it. And I didn't say the right things. I messed up. I stumbled a lot, but nevertheless, I faced that fear. I went head on and I did it, and now we're together today. And that's kind of how it is when you start your own business, you do your own YouTube channel. I think about, like you said, Brendan, the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you have to do on your to-do list that need priority. You have 10 things, and naturally we gravitate to the things that are the easiest. But it's really those 2 or 3 things. This morning I knew I had to write an email to one of my lists. I had to write another email to another list, and I had to do this YouTube video. But I also have like 7 other things I got to do. I got to go and take screenshots, and I got to go and email my friend back and do all this. Most people will do that stuff first, and they'll leave those big 3 things for the end. But I'm like, wow, what's going to make me money? What is going to build my network? What's going to build my business? It's those first 3 things that are uncomfortable to do. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Of course. That's really cool. I actually think that one of the biggest differences between people that actually make a mark and actually are successful online or in any facet of life really, and people that aren't successful are people that evolve. So they actually have these kind of things that they have deficits in, because we all have deficits. We're all born with flaws. It's a beautiful thing. But successful people fight through them and they overcome those deficits. I would say, for example, for my own life, not that I'm going to use myself the example of success or anything like that, but when I was in high school, I was really shy, and it would get to the point where I couldn't even like talk, like I couldn't even just have normal social conversations with strangers. Like that was uncomfortable for me. And now I have a YouTube channel. I do videos all the time, like sales page videos and everything, and I completely overcame that deficit because I knew that was important, right? That was an important skill for me to master, was to being able to just publicly be able to talk. Now, that wasn't easy. It wasn't comfortable. I put out videos. Please don't look at my earlier YouTube videos. But if you see my, you know, and we cut out there for a second.
Yeah, we cut out
there.
there.
Yeah, my first YouTube videos, they're cringeworthy for me. You know what I mean? But I gradually broke the barrier, or I just like bent the barrier, so to speak. Another example of that is I launched digital products. Now, I don't want to get too much into digital products on this channel. I want to mix up a little bit because I'm going to give off the impression there's a lot of people that are super intimidated by digital products, and I completely understand that. And I think I'm alienating some of my audience sometimes. But I will say that launching digital products were important for me. And when I wanted to launch my first digital product, which was 0 Hour Workdays, I remember going to Matthew Neer, who was like my kind of like a guy that was above me in business. But he I wanted his advice. He was somebody that I was buddy with, so I felt comfortable asking him about it. And he said, dude, like, if you need anything, just let me know. Like, I can give you my advice. It's like don't be a pussy. It's not that hard. And I kind of like had that moment in my head was like, really, there's nothing the only thing stopping me from launching my digital product right now is me just being a pussy. That's the only thing that was stopping me. So the very next month I launched 0 Workdays. It ended up doing over $70,000 in revenue. I kind of became more known in the digital launching space. And now we make, I don't know, like lately it's been like $30,000 plus profit. This month we've had more than that. This month has been $140,000 just in my vendor account that has been processed through my Warrior Plus vendor account. $140,000. I wouldn't have even dreamed about that years ago. And the only thing that stopped me from doing this years ago was being too much of a pussy to actually do something. That's like, I think that's the difference between unsuccessful and successful people is they have that one aha moment where they say like, hey, I can't stop myself from doing this anymore. I need to actually just do it.
I want to say, when I first did my first video, I said this to Shaheen in a video the other day. I got a tripod. I went to a lake. I dressed decently nice, not like I normally do. I set up the tripod. I wrote up a script, and I turned it on. I saw everybody looking at me because I'm at a lake, and they're all just watching me. And I'm there. I turn it on like, and then the final video, after like 3 hours of talking this thing, was complete shit. Like, it was horrible. But I put it up there. I kept doing this, and as you do it day after day, and that's an important thing that we've hinted on, but I don't think we hit perfectly, is consistency. If you really want this to work, it's not about doing one video then waiting a month and doing another one. Like, you want to do a couple videos a week, or make it a habit, do a video a day. Now, a lot of people have the thing where they're just like, I don't want to do a video. Dude, if you have a cell phone, you don't have an excuse. I can do this. I know Brendan probably would never do that, but I can do this. Actually, your sales video for 0 Workdays was a fucking selfie video, wasn't it?
It was. I don't do that very often. But I would say, like, you can usually find a way, because I, in the beginning, was uncomfortable with doing talking head videos. So the way that I got over that and kind of bridged myself into the process was I did screen capture videos. There's lots of software out there where you can do screen capture where nobody sees you. They just hear your voice. And that for some people, some people can't just dive into the pool head first. If you want to have a slow, gradual process, at least be moving forward in the right direction, that could be a good compromise to do. But I think I saw a statistic the other day that they think that in a decade from now, like 80% of the content consumed on the internet is going to be video. So I would love to tell people, hey, you don't need to do video. You can just do text-based. You can just do blogs. And maybe the few exceptional writers out there can find like a very small niche demographic that still enjoys reading on their spare time. Like, I enjoy reading, but I think I'm really in the minority. The majority of people, the consumers are consuming video. That's what they're consuming. And the new millennials, they're just going to want videos more than all the previous generations before them. So in business, you can't just, lots of times, this is an unfortunate reality that a lot of people won't tell you. You can't just do what you want in business all the time, unfortunately. What you have to do is you have to find out what does the consumer want and provide it for them. And when it comes to videos, that is just one of those cases where you're going to have to get over yourself and develop a comfort for it, okay? It could be screen capture, it could be talking head, could be whatever, but your first videos are going to suck. That's the thing. But you're going to get better. Okay. And there are some people that can do blogging. One of the people that I used to follow, Matthew Woodward, he has a blog, matthewwoodward.co.uk. He makes about $20,000 per month from blogging. His blog writing is exceptional. He's got very good networking skills of like marketing and everything like that. It's not impossible, but I can guarantee you can make money easier if you're willing to go into video and just be authentic. Like we say, you don't need to be all polished. An example of this, I have a little bit of a story, is I was in Vegas with King Human, who has a YouTube channel. You should look him up. He's a great guy and a great YouTuber. And he was taking a video in this hair salon because I was about to get my hair cut. And he was taking this video, and he said, I've never done YouTube Live before. So he just broadcasts it live. And because he's never done it, he just totally screws it up so that the video is coming on backwards, and it's like a sliver of the screen, and it just looks totally disastrous. And I'm like, dude, man, that was seen by like your subscribers, and it's totally messed up. And he's like, I don't care, I'm just gonna leave it up anyways. And he was just like, they're gonna know exactly what happened. Is I just pressed the play button, I didn't know what I was doing, and I still had said what I had to say or whatever, and like it's real. It's real. Like my subscribers know that when I talk, it's coming from a place of authenticity, and I think that makes all the difference because you don't need to be polished.
Yeah, to add to that, I actually, some of my best videos were recorded on my phone where, like you said, Brendan, it's a sliver of the screen. I'm walking out in front of my house. I'm scatterbrained. I'm not really saying the right things. It's not really organized. But I get this flurry of YouTube comments. People are saying, man, I love this. This is great. One guy commented saying, you know, I like when you do static videos because, you know, videos that don't move, where you're just in one place and you do it on your computer. Nevertheless, the content that you put out is so good that I want to keep watching. Even when you're kind of like, you're moving around and stuff, it doesn't really matter. So on top of not having to be polished, even if like the aesthetics are wrong in your background, the lighting is bad, you know, to this day on my YouTube videos, I still kind of have the black bars that I know Brendan hates on the side, but people still keep watching them because I come out there, I have the kind of courage to show up every day and tell people, you know, what it is that's on my mind. A lot of times it's not even related to my niche. One thing I wanted to point out with what Dalton said too about consistency, I think it was like Woody Allen, correct me if I'm wrong guys, I think Woody Allen said 80% of success is just showing up. And I believe that up until about a month ago where I added to that 80 or 90% of success is just showing up consistently. That's really all it is. I mean, not like learning something that you're going to learn stuff. Don't worry. You're going to learn stuff, especially as you kind of fumble and mess up. You'll learn stuff naturally. It's just, think about swimming. You get thrown in the water, you're doggy paddling at first. The next thing you know, you're doing breaststrokes and stuff. Is that a breaststroke, guys? I think that's a breaststroke. I was thinking like a breaststroke, and it takes my mind to really dark places. So,
oh my god.
Anyways, that's horrible. Oh my god. But yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. What were you just talking about? I'm losing my mind right now because
you see, guys, it's happening. It's happening. We're like getting, you know, our minds are just like stumped right now.
This is real. This is real life. This is
authentic. No, I was actually going to say
we're authentically quiet now.
The objection of, like, this is going to take too much time. So literally yesterday, I wanted to do a YouTube video. I was talking to my girlfriend on my phone here. Well, I mean, I was talking to her on the computer on the Facebook video chat, and I'm like, hey, can we stop talking for 1 minute? This is really rude, and I don't recommend anyone do this. If you have a girlfriend, you probably should. Actually, you probably should, but let's not go into that. What you want to do is get your well, not what you want to do. I'm sorry. What I did was I just legit. I said her. She was on my phone, and I just went to my computer, pressed record, and for 2 minutes, I did a good video. Well, I did a video. And then Shaheen, I posted that video. He comes and he's like, Dalton, good video today. And that was literally something I did in 2 minutes in between talking to my girlfriend.
Actually, I said, Dalton, finally a good video today. That's what I said.
I don't remember that, but I remember
Such a joke.
But anyways, that's hilarious. But I think the thing is, you're not going to compete with Game of Thrones. You're not going to compete with Star Wars. You are not a big production. You are reality TV. People are watching you. When people watch your network, it's because you have a niche tribe of people that enjoy your reality. So you can come up with frizzled bedhead hair or whatever. They want to peer inside your life and hear your point of view because people are obsessed, attracted to reality, and they're attracted to authenticity, and they're attracted to realness. So you just want to put across your most real self. As far as success goes, a weird phenomenon that I've always found, and I actually I kind of get it a little bit, but I don't always, is when people are afraid of success. Like I've definitely seen people in this space that get a good result that they didn't expect, and you can see they're just like deer in the headlights, like whoa, 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 this is taking off too much, kind of a thing. Like that's a weird phenomenon, and it's actually a lot more common than I thought it would be. And I kind of get it because anytime you have like a successful launch, you kind of have that nervousness, like, oh my god, like it's like, is this real? Is this a facade? Like, do I even deserve this, kind of a thing or whatever? But there's so many people that back away from success. I don't know if you have any thoughts about why that is, Shaheen, or if you're familiar with the phenomenon.
The first thing that popped up to my head is the first self-help book I ever read by a guy named Maxwell Maltz. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. You guys go and get this book. This is probably like the one and only self-help book I'll ever recommend. And he talks about a syndrome that he noticed people having, and this was back in the 60s, and I think it's accelerated today. And that is the success rejection syndrome. And it stems from childhood. You know, when we believe that when something is too good, it's too good to be true. You know, we can't have a good thing last. And anytime we get mega success, we think something is bad right around the corner. You know, last time I got that pretty little girl and she was my girlfriend. Next thing you know, she cheated on me. I got that job and it was, you know, a white collar job and I was making 80 grand a month and it was pulled from under my feet. And I agree, there are some things in life that are too good to be true, but when you change the frame, like when you change the context, for instance, internet marketing, where things are kind of they're in your own world and you're really relied upon, you make results happen. The outside world doesn't really make results happen. You make it happen. So no matter what happens, if something bad does happen, things are still in your control. You can turn it around. You know, there are multiple outlets. There are so many different ways. You know, I think PayPal shut our account down, right? But immediately, me and Brendan got on the phone. We talked about it. We masterminded for a couple minutes, and boom, problem was solved. I've heard of webinars not working, and people just get around that, and that's a big deal because on webinars you usually sell really high-ticket items, and a lot of money is at stake, but still, people get around that. So something you have to know, especially when you take things into your own hands and you become an entrepreneur, because you are an entrepreneur by nature, I believe that, you will have multiple outlets to go down. You'll have a lot of different ways you can recover from a bad situation. That's why you should never be afraid of success when it does happen. If something is pulled out from underneath you, don't worry. There's a solution for it. There always is. Always. 100%. So those are my thoughts on that. Yeah.
That's actually really interesting, and I actually think that makes a lot of sense. One of the authors that I really like to listen to or read or whatever, she has a TED Talk called Brené Brown. She's one of the most famous TED Talks of all time, called The Power of Vulnerability. But she's actually a shame and vulnerability researcher, so she's gone into a lot of this stuff. And actually, she talks about that people, if they have a fear of loss, right, they protect themselves. So if you've been cheated on before, you get a new relationship, you put that person at an arm's reach because you don't want to get hurt again, right? You protect yourself. You basically numb your emotions to not feel that pain, kind of a thing. And there's a couple problems with that. The first problem is you can't selectively numb emotions. So you can't selectively say, hey, I'm not going to feel this, I'm not going to feel this, but I'm still going to feel joy, I'm still going to feel love, I'm still going to feel excitement. You either numb everything or you numb nothing, basically. And the second thing is that there's no actual evidence that if you keep people at an arm's reach, you still don't get hurt. And that's what she actually found out in her studies, is all these people that were being less intimate, that were keeping people at a distance, were feeling the exact same amounts of pain if the person did cheat on them anyways. So it's like you may as well, even though it feels kind of weird, like I'm setting myself to get screwed over here, you may as well, because it's going to happen whether you like it or not, or whether you plan for it or not, you know? And that's kind of an unfortunate reality of life. I have on my webinar, I talk about, I was recently screwed over a month ago by a fiance that cheated on me and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And what was I saying? So anyways, you guys continue. I actually just lost my mind right now.
I think it was keeping it at arm's length, you know, like keeping somebody at arm's length in the next relationship or an opportunity at arm's length is going to hurt you a lot.
Or was it
more.
about vulnerability in your last relationship?
No, it was
I think
keeping
that
people
leads into vulnerability because look, you're gonna feel you're gonna feel a lot of pain when you keep people at arm's length because of the fact that you're actually doing that. So
Yeah.
when you got hurt in the first place, okay.
Oh, this is what.
Go for it, Brendan. I was
Sorry.
just warming you up till you got to that revolutionary breakthrough idea.
Authenticity.
You know the thing is like I feel like there's a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies where they just have this like fairy tale, like this happens, like they live happily ever after, they all love each other, everything works out the way that it's supposed to. Here's the hard knock truth, and this is why Game of Thrones is so popular, because it doesn't just give you the good stuff, it gives you everything. The reality is life, people are going to hurt you, things are going to hurt you, events are going to hurt you. Just deal with it. Okay, you can't stop people from hurting you. People are always going to hurt you. Just don't let it bother you that much and move on. There's a Bob Marley quote that's actually one of my favorite of all time, and he said, "The truth is, people are always going to hurt you. The purpose of life is to find the people that are worth suffering for." And I think that that's so incredibly true. And the reality is that anybody that's in your life right now could screw you over. Anything that you're doing right now could fall out from under you. But it's about being okay with that happening and recognizing that it can and will happen many times throughout your life and coming up with the best case scenario response to those tragedies, because they will happen. And trying to pretend that they won't happen or plan for them not happening or like prevent them from happening is not going to change anything. Okay. And I think especially with your emotional connection or whatever, when it comes to your relationships or your business or whatever, stopping yourself from being excited or enjoying things, and this is not going to do anything to do with success, but more just to do with your own personal enjoyment of life, that's not going to stop you from feeling pain anyways. So when you're winning in business, just enjoy it, because if it goes away from you, you're going to feel the pain either way anyways. You may as well always enjoy the good times and get over the bad times. That is what I think.
I think that's 100% true. I also think one thing they need to know is what you focus on grows. So if you're there focusing on how this might not work or there's all these problems, you're going to project that in your actions, and eventually you're going to screw it up for yourself anyway. So going through life scared is just going to make what you're scared of happening happen faster. So if you're going out there, you're just going to make that bad shit happen. If you're going, scared.
Dude, I completely agree. There's so many people. I'm not going to name any names, but in our industry, that make such crazy amounts of money because they are charming. Like it's messed up. Like they're not even like, they don't even know that much. They're not authorities. They don't like read books or like have any knowledge or whatever. They just have this aura about them of like dude, like don't you want to make so much money? It's easy, bro. Just like join me. We'll make money together. It's awesome. And people buy into that. So you definitely attract what you think, and these people are super unbelievably successful because they believe it, and that people are attracted to those beliefs. They have the actions and people and everything. And I think that that's not even doing some airy fairy kind of like quantum mechanics type conversation, which I would gladly get into, but that's more just like in reality, that's 100% the truth. You can see that in business. Like some Zig Ziglar said that selling is like the exchange of emotions. So if you are in like a positive state and you're in a confident kind of state, you're going to sell so much easier, and desperation kills sales. So how
do you go from not being confident to being confident? I guess my question for you, I have my opinion, but basically, what do you think of fake it till you make it? What do you believe in that? What do you two believe with fake it till you make it?
I think that ethically, faking mannerisms, faking confidence, that's actually a good thing, because they've done TED Talks or whatever, where there was one TED Talk where a chick just recommended having like better, more confident posture for a week. And what they found was that people that just force themselves to have a different, more confident posture than they normally would have, so in a way they're faking it, became more confident as a result of that change in their life. So I think that confidence is all bullshit anyways. So to say like fake it till you make it in terms of confidence, I think that confidence is, I think all humans have the same fears. We have the same anxieties. We have the same hopes, the same dreams. Anybody who's confident is just excelled at being able to fake it anyways. So I think faking confidence is a good thing, and that's how you become more confident. Faking actual facts like income, stuff like that.
Are we talking about CNN or I'm confused?
That's yeah, that's a bad idea, and it's not even in your favor. I think people have this idea that if they fake income, that's going to give them more business, but people can usually tell authenticity from what's disingenuous. And also, if you present yourself as really real and authentic, and you show those minimal results, but gradually building, that can actually be even more profitable than presenting yourself as the guru. And Shaheen's actually a master at this, because for me, I've been making money online for a while. So it's really hard for me to convert people, because a lot of people feel like I'm above them. They don't relate to me as much. Whereas if you're just at the start of your journey and you go from zero to making a few $1,000s, people can relate to that story so much more vividly. And really, that's what makes sales, is that relation and connection. Yeah. So all these people that are faking it, they're faking it as a disservice to their own business, in my opinion.
Yeah, and to kind of like to use an example of that, I noticed when I first started talking about Kindle publishing, everybody was talking about make $10,000 a month, make $20,000 a month, make, six figures, this and that. And I was like, whoa, let's pump the brakes. Look, a lot of you guys are just getting started out. I'm not making that much money. I don't even think I'm going to make that much money. But I found a way that's fairly easy to do, and it can get your results pretty fast. That can earn you maybe $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, maybe a little bit more if you go at it for a little bit longer. But the point wasn't to tell people that, man, I'm making this crazy money. I even showed my income. My dashboards was like $4,000 or $5,000, and I was like, look, I'm not making a killing, but this is consistent, and I've been doing this, and I'm still learning. But if you want to kind of make that realistic amount of money, you can. And I positioned myself as that guy. I created a high-end course, and now people are buying that course because a lot of guys, they don't want to make $10,000, $20,000 a month. They want to make an extra $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month to pay for their rent. They don't need those big crazy numbers or anything like that. One thing to add also with confidence and faking it. Go ahead, Brendan.
No, dude, I cut you off. Continue, sir.
No, yeah, really quick. I was going to say, you got to look at actors. Look at how actors make you believe who they are. But when you see these guys on interviews, you're like, that is him, the guy who was killing the snake and, like tumbling down the mountain and all that. Like, that's him. He just faked it. He acted that way. He wasn't actually confident. He manufactured confidence. Another thing, like with the posture thing, I really believe in big doors swing on small hinges. Tiny little tweaks you make in your day, like whether you ate a healthy breakfast or not, whether you put coffee down your throat or it was a fruit juice, those things will change your entire personality. I mean, I'll go so far as to say personality. And they're really small tweaks that you can make. They're not big, life-changing. I got to imagine myself as this confident person for the next 60 days and think of myself as like Les Brown or anything like that. It's nothing like that. Lastly, I'll say, a wise man once told me, I'll call him a wise man, he once told me that there is no such thing as confidence. All confidence is your ability to tolerate uncertainty. When you can tolerate uncertainty, because
that's good.
Nothing is certain in life, and when you're confident, you're exuding certainty. But deep down inside, you could be like, "Oh shit, is this going to work?" That's totally fine. It's okay. All you need to do is tolerate that uncertainty. When you tolerate that uncertainty, people will think you're certain.
I love that.
Right there.
Confidence is built by reference experiences too. So when you do start this off, you're going to be not confident. But after you do it time and time again, you're going to be like, oh, well, that was the result last time. That was the result this time. And eventually you're going to build your confidence. And there's something called the reticular activation system, or your focus, whatever you're focused on grows. And when you're focused on the fact that you're moving, making progress, and that you're getting positive results, you're going to become more, quote unquote, confident.
I like 100%. It. I like it. Ethan, that was some wisdom right there. I really think that we should give some sales advice, because regardless of how you're watching this, if you want to sell niche physical products, if you want to sell digital products, if you want to do network marketing or whatever, sales persuasion is like one of the most important skills that you can learn, and maybe the most important skill in business, right? Now, we were talking about earlier about fake it till you make it, having fake results or whatever, or having very real kind of like, I'm making 2,000, I'm making 3,000, 4,000, something that's like more relatable to people. One of the main things that we've learned in business, because we've done a lot of these product launches now, is probably the best way to get more sales is to eliminate objections. Okay. And we have learned that across the board. When we used to do launches before, we would make, some people are going to know what this means, some people aren't, but we used to make $1 per visitor that hit our sales page, called EPC or whatever. That would be kind of our average, which is an okay result. So for every visitor that sees one of our sales pages, we make $1. Now, our last two launches, the launch 2 launches ago was making a $4 EPC. So for every single visitor that went to our page, an average of $4 was processed, which is insane in our industry, particularly on Warrior Plus. Information products like it in its category don't get those results. So we've actually found like a really good way of how to have a really good, how to sell to people. Like we've become really good at it. And what I would say is that we've learned from our communal kind of effort is that it's about eliminating objections. And I think one of the best ways, like when people do fake it till I make it, like I'm making 30,000, I'm making 40,000, in a way that's creating an objection, because people have that fear of success. They have that fear of, I just want to make this much, because to them that's manageable. That's life changing. If I can just make $500 per month, I can pay off my groceries. You know, that's like something that they can actually believe in and feel, right? And can sort of like can enjoy that idea. Whereas when you get into the territory of $30,000-$40,000 per month, you've already lost them because they can't relate to it anymore. So I think a lot of like what we do in sales, we talk about like anybody can do this. So we have a lot of people that's just targeting fear. We say in pretty much all of our sales pitches, because we always do methods that people can do, we always are sure to tell people anyone can do this because we know that the average person doesn't think that they can, you know. And we basically there's other objections. I don't know if you guys have other examples of objections or if they want to throw in your sales chops. I know Shaheen, you have lots of copywriting experience.
Yeah, and I do think this is the most important skill for people to learn on their way to success. I want to warn you against learning this before you actually take action and start making money, because you can take action and start making money without learning these sales skills we're going to talk about. And all copywriting is persuasion. It is sales skills. But no matter how many books you read, no matter how many courses you take, there are a few things that if you just understand these things, they will eventually turn your business into a 7-figure business. And that is that people have problems. They have issues, right? Not like they got issues, you know, but they have they have problems that they need solved. And like Brendan said, they have objections. And I really equate those objections to kind of problems, because they're saying that, look, they want to make money, but they don't want to have to build a huge list. They don't want to have to learn technical things. They don't want to have to build a website. They don't want to have to explain to their family that they're doing this weird hocus pocus make money, a weird hocus pocus make money online thing. They've got these little issues. And your job is to really just address these issues at every turn. Every YouTube video I put out, every email I write, every sales presentation I make, I'm always keeping my mind focused on the issue that this person is having and letting them know that what I have to offer is going to alleviate every single one of these issues. It is going to, be the closest thing to a magic pill to get rid of those problems. That's how you want to position yourself at all times. You could learn the wording, you could learn the sentence structure, bullet points, ellipses, all of that stuff. None of that really matters unless you're doing this at every turn. I know copywriters whose grammar is bad, sentence structure is bad, their sentences are long, but they keep this at the forefront of their mind and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, some of them even more. I saw this guy's sales letter. It was horrendous. As an English kind of guy, because I did eventually get my degree in an English-related, bachelor's degree, and it was called rhetoric. Anyways, I eventually did that, and now I'm kind of a snob with grammar and stuff like that. This guy broke every single rule, yet he made way more sales than any grammarian out there that was, attempting to do what he was doing. God. So yeah,
that's a common thing too, because we have seen really successful marketers that are paying thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, and they have spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes in them. And,
I know the big one. Yeah,
me and Dalton are laughing because we're like, man, this guy probably spent $1 million on this ad. it's good.
I want to get that right.
that also comes down to taking action. He may have made a spelling mistake, but this guy's out in the arena, like Brendan likes to say, and he's taking action. He's putting it out there, and that's what it comes down to. Like with me personally, for a long time, I was afraid to sell things because I honestly want to help people and do everything. But once you actually get out of your shell, present yourself, because it's easy to tell people value, like, this is how you do this, this is how you do this. Like, how about I help you do this?
That's
Now,
when
go ahead.
I cut off everyone. It's so rude. It's terrible.
I really have to cut both of you off really quick. I got to cut both of you off really quick because I want to throw a pro tip at you guys. Because Dalton made me realize this, remember this. In sales copy, when you're communicating, when you're talking to people, never focus on the how-to, focus on the what they need to do as opposed to how they actually do it. Because when you talk about how-to, you kind of bore people. But when you talk about the what, like here's what you have to do. You have to go here and you have to do this and you have to be like that. Then, you go ahead, Brendan. You deserve cutting me off like 3 times, I think. Did Brendan freeze on us?
Wait.
There we go.
There he is. He's
all right.
Keep talking. The what?
The what. It's always the what. It's never the how-to. Like I said, you're bogging people down when you give them the how-to. That's why they're going to buy your course, to learn the how-to. But the best part of a course, right, is never the meat of the course, for the consumer at least. It is the idea of what it is they're going to get. What dream are they going to get? What benefit are they going to get? Because that is what's going to allow your customer to take action on that boring, tedious how-to stuff. All right? Nobody cares about how-to. So I'll leave it at that.
I don't know about you, Dalton, but this just like really frustrates me because we have tried to hire Shaheen for copy so many times, and he
This
won't
is me
do
leaving
it
now. This is me leaving now.
Shaheen, wait, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Uh-oh.
$1.
Rip it in half and give me the 2 halves and we'll talk.
Not on camera.
Put that $1.
Right.
Put that $1 to Bitcoin
Legal.
7 years ago, okay, man. That can make you a lot. But you were talking about in the arena, and it kind of made me think because like a lot of people actually hate on my YouTube channel. Not a lot, but like people hate on YouTube all the time because there's that kind of anonymity. There's that famous Joker quote where it's like, give a guy a mask and you'll actually see his true self or whatever. Anytime people are hidden, they're a lot more ruthless or whatever. And there's a lot of people that I know that would hold them back from actually putting anything out there. Because being successful is being able to put something out there, and you have this fear like you're going to be judged. And I don't know, like I'm actually kind of like I don't care about that negative stuff. Like it bugs me that it bugs me that it influences other people. So sometimes I get frustrated if I see negative comment because I know that there could be people kind of on the fence, like thinking about they might actually be willing to make their break, and then they hear a comment like all these people are lying to you, like they're just doing it for this or whatever, and then that person is just going to be like, I knew it. And then like their chance of success is over. So you should never have negative people kind of let you down. I have learned that if someone's not in the arena, who cares? Who cares about them? If they're not even trying to get results, they're just sitting in the back seat bitching and complaining about things aren't changing for them. They're not doing anything to make those changes. When they say it doesn't work, how the hell do they know? I would just say, like, take criticism, take feedback if it's coming from somebody that actually has the credibility to give you that feedback. If they're not in the arena, they're not making any efforts, they don't have any credibility, just ignore it. Don't even let it enter your system because it's going to prevent you. It's going to be a contributing factor to you not doing what you need to do.
100% agreed. Yeah, and we talk about this a lot because there are, especially in the arena, there are people on the outside that actually aren't trying to monetize. They aren't trying to make money. They're not trying to build a brand or a business, but they go out of their way to, create comments and hateful videos about what it is I do and I say. And talking to Brendan, talking to Dalton, they said exactly what they just told me right now, which is some of the best advice I've gotten, is that they're not playing the game. There's no need for you to even worry about it. They're playing a different game. It's a silly game. It's a juvenile game. And it's something that, honestly, nobody really cares about, at least nobody that you want in your tribe. If you got haters on you and you get people that have their masks on and are talking a lot of crap about you, likely, if they're telling other people that, the people that do side with them are never really the people you want anyways. They're not the people that are going to buy your stuff anyways. And if they do, it could be that negative publicity that hater person actually put out about you that led them to buy your product, as weird as that sounds, right? So, yeah, I couldn't agree more.
It's all about their own inadequacies. People want to put you down because they're not where you are. They're mad that you have these results, or they don't believe it because they can't see themselves doing it. A lot of life is a projection of how you feel inside, and a lot of these haters, they're projecting their internal reality onto you and your content.
It's so true. And the crazy thing is that a lot of these haters could be successful, but they're following into the pussy trap. They're being pussies. And it's
follow into that pussy trap.
Brendan Mace, quote, falling into the
they're being pussies, and instead of like confronting that and doing something, their way of like continuing to exist without guilt is by being like, oh, they're all just lying to me anyways. You don't think that we started at the beginning? Are you kidding me? You don't think that we were at the very beginning where we had all these negative comments that were telling us like, hey, this is impossible. You're never going to be able to travel the world and make thousands upon thousands of dollars per month, per day pretty quickly. You don't think that like when we started out, like we didn't see all that crap? We just gradually got results. Like I never imagined that I'd be at where I'm at today, but it's just if you actually fall into that trap of believing these guys, it can really prevent your business.
The problem is it's easy to believe in them, though. Like that's the problem. It's like a trap because you like once in a weird way you want to believe the reason I'm not doing it is because it's not possible, and that's why these guys attract people. That's why their comments attract people. So when you see that again with the RAS, the reticular activation system, you turn away, you turn that shit off, and you focus on getting to where you want to go. Sorry, I pulled a friend in there. That was my fault.
You're totally right. It's a defense mechanism, though. You're right, Dalton. It's because deep down they know that there is a possibility that, like, oh, maybe they should be doing something. Like, maybe if they actually put the effort in, it would work for them. But that makes them uncomfortable. There's fear there. So they say, oh, like, screw that. Like they're not going to do anything. They want to make sure as hell that no one else is going to do anything either. Because they don't want to feel even more guilty, like they didn't overcome their fears and someone else will, and they'll be the ones left behind still bitching and complaining. It is a total projection thing.
That's really interesting. I never really thought of it like that, and I think it's so true. It's almost like a fear of like, I want to be doing what that person is doing, but I can't really see myself doing that. Therefore, I don't want him to have that success because I can't have it either. You know, that's really, that's big, and that kind of makes me understand a little bit where some of these guys come from, you know, because you're never going to be able to fix them. You're only going to be able to understand where they're coming from. Sorry, Brendan.
No, it's all good, dude. I can't help myself. I like to talk.
I have been itching over here to like not jump in. I've been wanting to like. I've almost gone into the computer at times. Like wait.
Brendan, you make me think of a Fight Club quote. Everybody's just waiting for their turn to speak. Brendan's always waiting for his turn to speak.
Yeah, we're like three little like chimps over here just.
Please, Brendan, can I talk? Please.
I've got the floor now.
With that in mind, though, I will say that I think that one of the most important things that I learned is that people act emotionally and they justify with their reason. So I think if you look at almost all of human behavior, it's rooted in emotion, and then it's justified after the fact. So when people are hating, it's just a knee-jerk like, oh my God, I'm not successful, blah, 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 blah. And then afterwards, like, oh, the reason why I'm typing this right now is because this guy's a liar. This guy's lying to me. I need to let it. But they don't actually believe that, I don't think, deep down. I think it's very clear. You can see some absurd things, and women are really this way, not to be sexist, but they're very emotional. And you can see, like, women will do really terrible things, and the weird justifications that they will make up with to come up for why they did what they did. And the reality is that's human nature. Everybody does that. So at least to have awareness when you're doing it, and also know that other people are that way, and take that into account when you're selling, when you're doing anything, is that emotional triggers are going to sell more than, and like what you were saying earlier, Shaheen, the how-to, telling people, oh, like this is going to show you how to set up a website. This is going to show you how to like connect your Kindle account or whatever, all that stuff. Like that's not going to get people to do anything. That's, if anything, that's going to stop people from doing anything, because their decision is going to be based on like how sexy it feels to them. Then they're going to come up with the reasons.
I think the best way to explain this is, okay, if you want to like Kindle publishing and selling Kindle publishing, you're going to have to spend a lot of time doing tedious ass shit, talking to people, getting your stuff outsourced. Like I could go on and on about this, or you could talk how to sell it. You want to make thousands of dollars of passive income every single week, and I mean that's possible. Like I'm not lying, I've done that. But you don't like if you're just focusing on the how-to. So first you're gonna have to go and find niche topics. Then you're gonna have to go and get a book cover ordered. Then you're gonna have to get a VA to help you out. Then you're gonna have like if I did that, you're gonna be like, yeah, Dalton, I really want to do that. That sounds great. Like they're gonna be like, no, I think I'll go with that guy. It's gonna teach me how to make thousands of dollars a week.
Yeah, like if you watch any of my videos, I think 75% of the time on YouTube, I never do how-to videos. I've tried and they just don't get they don't get eyeballs, you know? They don't get people fired up. They don't get people excited and motivated. But I notice when I tell them what's possible, what can happen, you know, what will happen, people give me these crazy, crazy responses in a good way. They give me amazing feedback all the time. And they buy the stuff that I actually put out that has the how-to in there. You know, my paid stuff has the how-to in there, and you know that's just something that you kind of remember with this whole thing. And another thing is, yeah, people buy. This is copywriting rule number 1. People buy for emotional reasons, and they justify it later with logic. Sorry, guys, I got a call over here, and I think you guys can all hear that, right?
That is a possibility.
Yeah,
like a really good one.
I thought it was me. I'm like,
I already have customers calling me right now. They want to buy stuff.
This is supposed to be business. It's supposed to be professional.
Shaheen!
That's the thing, guys. Stuff like that. Like my dog right now, the last 5 minutes, this could either be the sickest thing or the cutest thing. He's been licking my feet. And I've been like, you know, I'm over here like going like this, and I'm just trying to look at the camera, and I got text messages going on. This stuff will happen as you guys are doing this, you know. And you got to remember that and people will forgive you, man. They will forgive you for that, and they'll love you for it.
This is him begging for it. No, I'm just kidding.
Forgive
this
me.
This is totally reasonable. It's fine. This happens.
This is
People
supposed
love
to
it.
happen, man.
People love this video.
Look, my dog is right here.
Well, now that
funny.
you've officially ruined the video, Shaheen, maybe we should wrap it.
Good
maybe
thing it
we
was
should
at the end. Good thing it was at the end.
No, we should wrap it up because your dog wants attention. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. I don't think anyone wants to hear us talk much longer.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
But I think that we actually covered some pretty cool stuff. And these guys are both killing it. And it's because of a lot of the stuff that we talked today. I think today we talked about a lot of more of the psychology more than we talked about the how-to. But if you actually get through this and are successful, you realize that the psychology is more important. That's just the truth.
100%. I think as Tony Robbins said, 80% of his mindset, 20% of it is mechanics. And I'll say that with everything. 80% is the mental, the psychological, and then 20% is the how-to stuff. Again, we go back to that. 80% kind of the more psychological, neural stuff, and then 20% of it is, all right, then you got to take the link and you got to put it here, and then you got to upload this here, and that stuff is easy, right? But remembering that that stuff is easy on a day-to-day basis is what's going to get you to success, is what's going to get you to 6 figures and 7 figures. So that's my
I love that.
words.
I'll say this one last thing because I have to have the last word, obviously. I'm just kidding.
Obviously, you are in the middle.
But there's actually one of my favorite studies that I ever looked at was the 2 marshmallow experiment, and I've said this in other videos before, but I think it's really important. But they did this cohort study with like grade 1 kids, and they offered them 2 marshmallows, and they said, hey, we can give you 1 marshmallow right now because we really know that you want this marshmallow. Or if you wait until the end of the day, you can have 2 marshmallows. So their actual overall result was better if they had the self-control and discipline to do the right thing for themselves, for their whatever. And what they did was they actually did a cohort study. So they tracked these people later in life. And what they found out was this double marshmallow experiment was a more accurate indicator of who became successful. It was more accurate than grades in school, intelligence, or any other metric. A non-cognitive skill that had nothing to do. So when we say anybody can do this, it's because the stuff that you have to do is really not that hard. Anybody can do this, okay? What's going to separate from the people that do and the people that don't is more to do with the non-cognitive stuff. Will you actually just not be a pussy and do it, right? Will you actually not avoid the most important tasks? Actually just figure out what's most important and do those before anything else, right? So that's why I think this video today, we covered a lot of really cool stuff. I'll wrap it up there so that I have the last word.
No.
I will have the last word, guys. Don't
Let me
worry.
talk. Can I talk, Brendan? Please let me talk.
Come on,
If
Brandon,
one of you
let's
guys
let him
will-
talk.
I actually do have something to say. Please call me.
You wouldn't
Call
lie.
me.
Okay, you're allowed. But
Okay,
unless I gave
thank
you
God.
permission.
Okay. My favorite self-help book is called No Excuses by Brian Tracy, and it's all about self-discipline, which is what Brendan's talking about right here. And one of my favorite quotes from there is, "The successful people do what they have to do, whether they like to or not, and the unsuccessful people do what they want to do." And then you're going to see very quickly who's going to be successful. You need to learn how to delay gratification into the future. If I had to say one skill that I have that makes me quote unquote successful is being able to delay my gratifications. If you know anything about me, I have a ton of investments. I don't think people could put that much money in investments if they didn't know how to delay gratification. If I wanted to, I could get a car. If I wanted to, I could go on a vacation. If I wanted to, I could do all kinds of things. But it's better for me to focus on the future, where I'm going to be 5 years from now. And a lot of people don't have that future mindset. Everyone has like to do now.
Yeah.
Go, okay, Brendan. Okay, Brendan.
All right,
Brendan.
all right. This is what I want to say.
You guys have a never-ending story right here.
So true.
I'm just watching with your viewers. With our viewers.
You know, the thing is, though, is like everybody in most stuff knows what they have to do. And if you don't, you know where to get that information. Now, for example, a lot of this stuff, a lot of people know how to lose weight, but a lot of people are overweight. People know that if they want to lose weight, they just need to eat less and exercise more. But a lot of people don't do it because they don't have the discipline. So I think that that's like you actually can do this, but more than anything else, you have to train your discipline, your non-cognitive skills. Okay, I think that's what we covered a lot in today's video, which was really cool. I would like to give this opportunity now, since Shaheen was so gracious to come on the channel, and you can clearly see he's a fairly smart dude. Hopefully he does copy for us one day, would be nice. But I would like to give Shaheen a chance now. If you guys want to follow this dude, and you should, because he knows what he's talking about, let the viewers know where they can meet up with you.
So yeah, you guys, if you type in Shah's Profits, SHAHS, and then Profits into the YouTube search bar, you'll see my goofy, thumbnails all over the place. I talk about Kindle publishing, but I talk a lot about, the deeper psychology behind consumer behavior and things like that. Kind of the stuff we've been talking about on this call. Practical how-tos, of course, even though a lot of people don't watch that, I still put it out there because I know there are some of you that want that. So I put that out there, and then I'm going to be talking a lot more about copywriting techniques, how to get into people's minds, how to get people to say yes, and really how to build a good business and a good life overall. So Shah's Profits, that's that right there.
Sweet.
Yes, sir. I got the last word. That's it. Call's done. No, I'm joking.
All right. Thanks both of you guys for coming on the channel. Really enjoyed this call. It's always cool seeing you guys. I hope that the audience appreciate this because, like we said, it's real, man. This is us.
Also, we should put a link below to Shaheen's channel. So if you do want to get that, we'll have a link right there for you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dalton.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, Dalton. I have the last.
We'll see you guys later.
All right. Peace, dudes.
See you guys.